rid of my cell phone. Upside down.
There you go.
You guys can pull in a little bit closer. Just... Hey guys, there's a zip tie behind you. You want to hang it up over there?
Jeff Tierney.
Okay. Good afternoon. On behalf of all elected county sheriffs that you see standing around me, I want to thank you for attending this briefing today. I'm Justin Smith, the Sheriff of Larimer County. We are here to provide a voice to the millions of honest, law-abiding Coloradans who were ignored by their governor as well as by the majority party in their state house. We watched as the president, New York billionaire Mayor Michael Bloomberg, and the leaders of his party as they're now throwing their political clout behind continued efforts to pose yet more and more gun control laws on Colorado. While these dedicated county sheriffs stand here publicly for the rights of their citizens, the president, later today, will be hiding behind the walls at the Denver Police Academy, surrounding himself with hand-picked audience of gun control supporters and police employees coerced to his political rally, as he declares victory for the Denver governor, John Hickenlooper.
Jeff Tierney.
Please keep it down if you would. We are here to remind you that the voices of the 62 elected Colorado sheriffs were silenced by the leaders of the majority party in the state house. Your governor found it too inconvenient to even allot 15 minutes to hear the concerns of the sheriffs of his state. One should logically ask why. Why was it too inconvenient to listen to an opposing viewpoint? The answer lies in the agenda-driven politics. Gun control advocates were keenly aware that they had a short window of opportunity to exploit the emotions surrounding these tragedies in Newtown and Aurora. Polling showed them that citizens were too desperate and they wanted to do something, do anything, and in the words of Rahm Emanuel, they did not want to waste a crisis. The president and Mayor Bloomberg watched the polls. They now realize that the emotional response that they were counting on to pass their agenda has made a turn. Just this week, CBS News released poll results that showed that fewer and fewer Americans support additional gun control laws, and that continues to trend downwards. The president and Mayor Bloomberg are desperate. They have watched their window of opportunity close. You see, a thinking, reasoned citizenry is much harder to fool. Colorado sheriffs know what dangers their communities face. You see, we enforce the laws to protect our citizens from those who want to steal their property and harm them and their families. While the gun magazine ban and background check laws may, I repeat, may have been well intended, the truth is the way they are written simply went too far. We understand. We have actually read the bills. There is nothing in those bills that would have prevented the violence in Aurora or in Newtown. Even the authors of these bills recognize that. In the last 2 weeks, Coloradans have personally witnessed another example of tragic violence when pizza delivery driver Nathan Leon and Department of Corrections Director Tom Clements were murdered by a parolee mistakenly released early from the Colorado prison system. Make no mistake, Evan Ebel had no business being outside the walls of a Colorado state prison. Ebel was well known within the prison as a danger to the guards and certainly a danger to the public. Now, the woman charged with knowingly violating the current state law by arming Evan Ebel has been released on bail. The problem isn't that we don't have enough laws to protect our community. The problem is that the system doesn't hold criminals accountable for their crimes. What would actually help, you ask? Well, officers need access to the information that would allow them to disarm felons in Colorado. Under the current system, officers on the beat have no access to a database or a list of felons who are prohibited by state and federal law from possessing firearms. Rather than mandate that citizens of my county fleeing wildfire conduct a background check on their own friends before they transfer their shotgun to their custody as they flee the wildfire, only to watch their own home burn. Why not create this database for local police so they can know and the community can know who is prohibited from having firearms? That's just common sense legislation. If the president wants to be a part of the solution to this epidemic of violence in our nation, he needs to be brave enough to step away from the staged media events like the one he's holding later today. The president and our governor need to do what county sheriffs do each and every day. We sit down and listen to the opinions of those with differing viewpoints. What hasn't worked in cities like Washington, D.C., Chicago, will not work in Fort Collins, Colorado. Only with that change of course will they make any noticeable difference in curbing the epidemic of violence that plagues our country. Those are my prepared remarks. I'd like to add a few more things. What's become a bit of a story that is concerning citizens and concerning police officers is this staged media event held at the Denver Police Academy. And we've seen some of the news reports you've heard from officers who said they were coerced into being there. You'll notice there aren't any Denver police officers here today. And I can tell you, I personally talked to Denver police officers who assured me that they had felt pressured. They were told, you'll be at this event. It was only when officers refused to attend that they were then allowed to go back to their normal districts. They certainly knew that they could not stand up here today without potential repercussions. That is absolutely wrong. Every one of these sheriffs who stands here today stands of their own volition on behalf of their citizens, simply asking for consideration that the lawmakers look at laws that don't add further restrictions, unreasonable restrictions on their citizens. We as sheriffs enforce the current laws that are out there today, the firearms laws, to keep our community safe. We know what works, and if there was any chance that these politicians would take the time to do what sheriffs do and talk, we could move forward. One of the things that frustrates us, we